Toronto man accused of plotting terror attack. This is the Great White North Report. So last week, a Toronto man was accused of plotting a terror attack at a Jewish center in New York City. Mohammed Shahzeb Khan, 20 years old now, faces terror-related charges in both the U.S. and Canada. It's amazing how none of these Canadians have the name of John, Mike, Tom, Dick, Harry, Abe, Jake, or Ike. No common names. Mohammed seems to be now a common name in Canada after some guy who named after somebody who might not have existed. And he was arrested in Quebec on Wednesday in connection with terror investigation. So he faces charges in both Canada and the United States as he is allegedly attempting to illegally enter the U.S. and carry out a mass shooting at a Jewish center in New York City. If he's Canadian, why isn't he doing this in Canada? Why would you have to travel all the way to New York City for this? The accused in the case is 20-year-old Mohammed Shahzeb Khan, who investigators say also goes by Shahzeb Jadoun. Again, not your typical Canadian name. He is arrested in the town of Ormstown, Quebec, about 60 kilometers south of Montreal. And he's described himself as a Pakistani citizen residing in Canada. If you're a Pakistani citizen, what are you doing in Canada? Why did we let this clown come in? This is the problem with our immigration system. I would not be allowing Pakistanis into Canada. Simply because it's one of the most dangerous places for Islamists to come through. Bring in enough of those and we're going to have Sharia law for sure. And blasphemy laws, which is not a good idea. Also, Pakistanis tend to be inbred too, on a large scale. So he's alleged to have planned a terrorist attack in New York City around October 7th of this year with the stated goal of slaughtering in the name of ISIS as many Jewish people as possible. So again, he's been corrupted by ISIS and all the other Islamic bullshit that goes on. You're 20 years old and you're going to throw your life away for that. That's the problem with Islam. Islam is too fatalistic. It has a too fatalistic approach as a religion, unlike other major religions. You want to do something, buddy, just put the gun to your head and pull the trigger. Save us all a lot of problems. So the FBI and Canadian law enforcement partners, the defendant was taken into custody. He faces 3 charges in Canada: attempting to leave Canada, committing an offense for a terrorist group, participating in the activities of a terrorist group, conspiracy to commit an offense by violating U.S. immigration law, entering or attempting to enter the U.S. unlawfully. I want to know what he's doing in Canada. Why is he here? Why did we let him in? Didn't we screen these people? Of course, you can't really scream radical ideology in your head. That's in someone's head. Faces a charge in the U.S. of attempting to provide material support and resources to a designated foreign terrorist organization, namely ISIS. So the RNP released their own statement. A picture of Ormston hearing loud bangs ring out Wednesday after RCMP vehicles intentionally hit another vehicle, purportedly carrying a suspect in this case. So he's already heading towards the border in Quebec. That's one of the easier land crossings. Now, Khan is believed to have been heading towards Roxham Road with the intention of illegally entering the U.S. He intended to use automatic and semi-automatic weapons to carry out a mass shooting in support of ISIS at the Jewish Center in Brooklyn. Information police say they gleaned from conversations between the accused and 2 undercover officers, began posting on social media and talking with people about his support for ISIS. On an encrypted messaging app around November 2023, 2 of those people were undercover agents. So he's using an encrypted messaging app so we can't figure out where he is. Posting on social media, talking with people about his support for ISIS. Like, look around you, buddy. You're in Canada. You have the freedom to do a lot of stuff. Yet you still support a dictatorial religious group. It's going to do nothing but lead you to your death. And that's what they want. They want useful idiots like you. They don't care. You're a dime a dozen over there. It's one of the reasons why I don't believe that we should allow too many people from Islamic countries over to Canada, because this is the kind of bullshit we get. Let in a trickle, but not a flood, and that's what Trudeau has done. Khan was allegedly planning an attack in a different unnamed city and repeatedly instructed the undercover officer to obtain assault rifles, ammunition, and other materials to carry out their plan. So he's not only asking for himself to go on a shooting rampage and get himself killed, he's also asking another person to do the same thing. We have too many of these idiots out there in the world. A different unnamed city, eh? Probably Toronto or Montreal. He suggests October 7th and October 11th as possible dates for the attack. One being the 1-year anniversary of Hamas attack, and the later being the start of Yom Kippur, the Jewish holiday, which was also the start of the 73 war. Around August 20th, he changed his target to the Jewish Center in New York, citing the large Jewish population. We're going to the NYC to slaughter them all. If we succeed with our plan, this would be the largest attack on U.S. soil since 9/11. So again, people have learned nothing. And this is what happens with Islam. People do not understand that radical Islam is far-right Islam. They eat, breathe, sleep, drink, go to the washroom according to Islam. They take the Quran, the Hadith, the Surahs, the Tafsirs as the Word of God. Even though none of them come from the 7th century. They all come from later. And it's going to be like idiots like this who probably went to a madrasi, or madrasa, whatever you want to call it, those religious schools they have. Pakistan has a lot of those. We actually have one up in Cornwall, or is it Kingston, which I don't approve of. We shouldn't have religious centers like that. Those are breeding grounds for these kind of idiots, because they are religious schools where you spend most of your time learning how to recite the Quran perfectly, and then going over the Hadiths, which are the most dangerous things. People need to read a Quran to see how much violence there is inherent in the book, to understand, and the Hadiths as well. Most normal people would be embarrassed by this. Once you read the Hadiths, it'd be embarrassing. So then it goes on to say what happened in the small town, and these guys, dogs are my kind. Unfortunately, people in Islam are not dog lovers. You never see a Muslim couple with a dog. They're very anti-dog. Another reason why I don't really want a lot of large-scale Muslim immigration in my country, because they're very anti-dog friendly. They're not only anti-Semitic, they're anti-LGBTQ, they're anti-dog. So it gives her something to talk about. But I would like to know how this guy got into Canada, and where he got radicalized. Was it within Canada itself, or was it overseas? How long has he been in Canada? Why is he in Canada? Was he a student who was going to get kicked out? These are the type of people we do not need in Canada. But unfortunately, they come from the same part of the world. And it's time to stop our immigration policies from that part of the world. It became a flood in the 2000s. Now let's slow it down to a trickle, or we're going to have the same problems they're having in the UK, France, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, and the Netherlands. Anyway, Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think of this story. And is it the fault of the Canadian immigration, or is it something else? Leave comments in the comment section. Until next time, this has been the Great White North Report.